Her whispered confession shocked the rancher, and his next move changed everything. The twin sons were sliding down behind the red desert when Cole Mercer returned to his ranch. His hoverbike moved smoothly over cracked earth, leaving a thin line of dust in the air. Far away, wind turbines turned like slow giants, and a line of energy towers blinked along the horizon like cold stars. This world was called Arid 7, a colony planet built for people who didn't want rules breathing down their necks. It was wide, quiet, and harsh. The sky had a pale tint, and the wind always carried grit. If someone survived here, they learned to be tough, careful, and calm. Cole had survived longer than most. He was not the loud kind of rancher who joked in town and drank until sunrise. Cole spoke only when needed. He fixed fences, counted cattle, and watched the skies. His herd was special, gene-shaped cattle bred for heat and thin air. They ate tough grass and drank less water. They were worth a fortune to the wrong kind of people. Cole parked the hoverbike near the main gate and scanned the property. The ranch was a small fortress, a house, a barn, a water tower, and a ring of old defense posts he never admitted still worked. He liked being alone. Alone meant peace, but tonight something felt off. The security lamps were on. Cole had turned them off that morning to save power. That meant either the system glitched or someone triggered it. His hand moved toward the blaster at his belt. He stayed quiet and listened. The wind whistled through metal beams. A distant animal call echoed from the desert, then soft movement near the barn. Cole walked slowly, boots crunching in the dust. The barn door was half open, as if someone had pushed it and left it that way. Inside, shadows gathered between stacked crates and tools. "Step out," Cole said, voice calm but sharp. "Now." A figure shifted. "Don't shoot," a soft voice answered. A woman stepped into the faint light. She looked worn down, wrapped in a travel cloak torn at the edges. Dust covered her boots. Her hair was dark and messy, as if she had been running for days. She raised both hands and kept them visible. Cole did lower his weapon. "This is private land," he said. "You're trespassing." "I know," she said quietly. "I'm sorry." Her eyes flicked toward the door, then back to him. Fear lived in her face, but it wasn't only fear. There was determination, too, like she had chosen this place on purpose. Cole narrowed his eyes. "Name?" "Lena," she said. "Why are you here, Lena?" She swallowed. "Because I ran out of choices." That sounded like trouble, and trouble was expensive. Cole angled his weapon slightly. "People who show up at sunset usually bring problems. You need to leave." "I can't," Lena whispered. Cole's jaw tightened. "You can, you just don't want to." She shook her head fast. "If I step back out there, they'll catch me, and if they catch me, I won't make it through the night." Cole watched her carefully. Her clothes were damaged, but the fabric looked high quality, not something a normal drifter could buy. Her hands had no heavy work scars. She wasn't from the ranch life. "Who is they?" Cole asked. Lena hesitated, as if the word itself hurt. "The Authority." That name turned the air colder. The Authority controlled the major colonies, roads, ports, and trade. They called it order. The frontier called it pressure. Some settlers paid taxes and stayed quiet. Others disappeared. Cole kept his face blank, but his thoughts moved fast. If the Authority was involved, this was not a simple lost traveler. "You should go to the town station," he said. Lena gave a small, bitter laugh. "The station reports to them." Cole didn't like that answer. He didn't like the way she said it, like she knew the system from the inside. He took one step closer. "Why my ranch?" Lena looked down. "Because you're far from the main road." "That's not enough," Cole said. She took a breath, then said something that made Cole's fingers tighten. "I know who you are, Cole Mercer." His weapon rose a fraction. The name felt like a door being opened in his mind, revealing a room he kept locked. He hadn't introduced himself. No one in town used his full name. Most people just called him Rancher Mercer. "You shouldn't know that," Cole said. "I didn't learn it from rumors," Lena replied. Her voice stayed low. "I saw your file." Cole stared at her. "What file?" Lena looked like she was forcing herself to be brave. "You used to be a marshal, a frontier marshal." Cole's chest tightened. That was a life he buried years ago. A life filled with chasing criminals, protecting settlers, and doing things he didn't want to remember. He left that badge behind because it cost him too much. "That's over," he said, and he meant it. Lena nodded. "I know, but I need help from the man you used to be." Cole exhaled slowly. "I'm not your hero." "I don't need a hero," she said. "I need a roof and one night of safety, just one." One night was how storms started. One night became a week became a war. Cole had learned that the hard way. He turned toward the barn door and looked outside. The sky was darkening. First stars appeared, sharp and bright. The desert didn't forgive mistakes. Behind him, Lena spoke again. "If you send me away, they'll find me within an hour." Cole kept his voice flat. "Then keep running." Lena's shoulders dropped. She looked like she might collapse. Still, she didn't step back. She didn't cry or beg. She just stood there, breathing hard, like she had nothing left except one last truth to offer. "There's something you should know," she said. Cole glanced at her. "Make it fast." Lena swallowed and spoke carefully, like every word carried weight. "I worked for them." Cole's eyes narrowed. "For the authority?" "Yes," Lena admitted. "Not security, research." Cole felt a spark of anger rise. "So you're part of the machine." "I was," she corrected, "until I found out what the machine was doing." Cole said nothing, but his silence demanded more. Lena stepped closer, hands still visible, and her voice shook. "They're testing on settlers," she said. "Not just medical tests. They're changing people, trying to build stronger workers and stronger soldiers, and they do it quietly. They take someone, bring them back different, and tell the town it was sickness or an accident." Cole's stomach tightened. He had heard rumors, but rumors were cheap. Her words didn't sound cheap. "You're saying they're harming people," Cole said. "I'm saying they don't ask," Lena replied. "They don't care." Cole's fingers flexed. His ranch was far from the cities, but not far enough. He thought about the families in town, kids running by the well, old men trading stories. Lena looked at him with desperate honesty. "I tried to report it. I tried to send data out, but they caught it. They traced it back to me. Now they want me erased." Cole stared at her and saw something else now, guilt. Real guilt, not an act, a heavy thing she carried. The wind screamed outside like a warning. Then Cole saw it, faint lights on the horizon, moving fast, too fast for civilian trucks. Lena saw them too, her face drained. "They're here," she whispered. Cole's mind snapped into action. Those lights were coming straight toward the ranch. If they were authority flyers, they would scan the land, search the buildings, and take whoever they wanted. Cole could run, but he couldn't move his herd fast enough. He couldn't save his ranch by hiding. He turned back to Lena. "How did they track you?" Lena's eyes shimmered with fear. I think they put a tracer in my access badge or my cloak or..." Cole cut her off. "Stop. We don't have time." He moved to the wall panel near the barn door and slapped it open. The ranch was old, but he kept certain systems alive. He pressed 2 switches. Deep below, a generator hummed awake. Warning lights blinked along fence posts. The defense ring came online. Lena stared. "You said you were just a rancher." Cole grabbed a long rifle from a rack, checked it, then looked her straight in the eye. "I am," he said, "but I'm not helpless." The distant lights grew brighter. Cole spoke fast and firm. "Inside the house. Basement hatch under the kitchen rug. Stay quiet." Lena's voice trembled. "You're going to help me?" Cole didn't smile. He didn't soften his face. "You walked into my land with authority ships behind you," he said. "Now my ranch is on the line." He stepped outside and looked up. The sky was dark purple now, and those incoming lights were cutting through it like knives. Cole's peaceful life was ending, whether he liked it or not. Lena ran toward the house, cloak fluttering behind her. Cole watched until she disappeared, then turned back to the horizon. His next move would decide everything, and whatever Lena had whispered, whatever she knew, had awakened the man Cole tried to bury. The first authority flyer came in low, quiet, and smooth. It didn't roar like an old engine. It glided like a hunting bird. A second flyer followed behind it, then a third. Their searchlights swept across the sand, scanning the ranch fences, the barn roof, and the water tower. Cole stood near the corral gate, rifle ready, his body still. He didn't shoot, not yet. If he fired first, he would lose the only advantage he had, timing. The ranch defense posts remained hidden, their barrels tucked behind panels. Old tech, yes, but reliable. Cole had repaired them piece by piece, not because he planned for war, because the frontier taught one lesson again and again: trouble always returned. The flyers slowed above the main yard. A bright beam landed on the barn door, then slid to the house. Cole's jaw tightened. They were looking for a person, not cattle. A voice echoed from a speaker on the nearest flyer. "Calm, official, cold. Property owner, identify yourself. You are in restricted airspace. Stand down and remain visible." Cole kept his face blank and his rifle lowered slightly, not raised. He stepped forward into the yard light so they could see him. "My name is Cole Mercer," he called up. "This is private ranch land. You're trespassing." The speaker paused as if the person on the other end was checking records. Then the voice returned. Cole Mercer confirmed you will cooperate with a lawful search. Cole lifted his chin. Show me a warrant. There was a short silence. Then the voice answered, Colonial authority does not require a warrant on the frontier perimeter. Cole didn't like that line. It was the kind of line people used when they wanted to take what wasn't theirs. A ramp lowered from the nearest flyer. 3 officers stepped down onto the sand. Their armor was clean, their helmets tinted. They moved with practiced confidence, as if they owned the ground under their boots. One officer approached Cole while the others spread out, scanning the barn and corral. Rancher Mercer, the officer said, we are searching for a fugitive, a woman dangerous. You will tell us if she came here. Cole's eyes stayed steady. I haven't seen anyone. The officer studied him. You're lying. Cole didn't react. That's your opinion. The officer raised a small device and aimed it at Cole's chest. It beeped softly. Your heart rate increased, the officer said. Again, tell us where she is. Cole shrugged. It's cold out here. The officer stepped closer. Don't make this hard. Cole's voice stayed calm. Don't make it illegal. Behind them, another officer called out, Barn is clear. Cole kept his attention on the lead officer. If your fugitive isn't here, leave. The officer's helmet tilted slightly. Our scanners detected an unauthorized signal in this area. Cole's mind jumped. Unauthorized signal, Lena's access badge maybe, or a tracker. The officer continued, we will search your house. Cole's eyes flashed. No, the officer's tone hardened. That is not a request. Cole knew he couldn't let them reach the kitchen. He also knew if he fired now, the flyers would respond. His ranch would become ash. His cattle would scatter. The town would hear and the authority would return with 10 times the force. So Cole did what he did best. He delayed. He took one slow step forward, then pointed at the corral fence. Before you go inside my home, I want names and unit numbers. I have the right to record it. The officer paused. You don't have that right. Cole's voice stayed even. Then you won't mind giving them anyway. The officer stared, then waved a hand sharply. 2 officers began walking toward the house. Cole's grip tightened on his rifle. In the house, Lena crouched in the basement space under the kitchen. It wasn't a full room, more like a hidden bunker built from metal panels and old insulation. Cole had stored supplies there, water packs, tools, emergency rations, and a dusty transmitter he never used. Lena's breathing was shallow. She pressed her hand over her mouth to stay silent. She heard boots on the porch. A door handle turned. Her eyes widened in the darkness. Cole, outside, took another step toward the lead officer. If you push into my home, you'll make a problem with the ranchers' guild. The officer gave a cold laugh. We don't negotiate with ranchers. Cole stared at him. Then you'll negotiate with my defenses. The officer's helmet snapped toward the fence posts as if he finally noticed their shape. You have armed posts? Cole didn't answer. The officer's voice rose slightly. Deactivate them now, Cole said calmly, not while you're on my land. The officer lifted his hand and tapped his wrist pad. The flyer above hummed louder. A searchlight locked onto Cole's face, blinding white. Final warning, the officer said. You will comply. Cole's eyes didn't blink. You don't have to do this. The officer's voice turned sharp. We do. Cole felt the moment tilt. One wrong breath and everything would explode into chaos. Then from inside the house, a soft thump echoed, barely audible but enough. One of the officers near the porch stopped. He turned his head. I heard something. Cole's stomach tightened. The lead officer looked at Cole. What was that? Cole didn't hesitate. My generator. Old machine always knocks. The officer near the porch moved again, stepping closer to the front door. Cole's mind raced. If they opened the basement hatch, Lena was done. And if they grabbed her, Cole's ranch would still be raided, searched, and possibly seized. Cole made a decision. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small metal disc, an old ranch tag fitted with a signal chip. He flicked it toward the far side of the barnyard. The disc hit the sand and began to beep loudly, flashing. Every officer snapped their attention toward it. What's that? One shouted. Cole raised his voice, acting surprised. That's not mine. The lead officer lifted his wrist pad again. Scan it. 2 officers moved toward the flashing disc. Cole used that second of distraction to step sideways and tap the fence post control with his boot. A hidden panel opened. A burst of smoke shot out near the barn, thick, gray, harmless smoke designed to block vision and confuse scanners. The yard filled with swirling haze. Visual compromised? An officer called. Searchlights cut through the smoke, swinging wildly. The flyers adjusted position, their engines humming higher. Cole kept his rifle pointed down, not shooting. He didn't want blood, not here. He wanted space. He wanted time. The lead officer shouted, "Rancher Mercer, deactivate your systems now." Cole called back, "Leave my property." The officer's voice turned threatening. "If you obstruct this operation, you will be charged and detained." Cole's eyes stayed cold. "Then do it the honest way. Come back with legal clearance." The officer stepped forward, then paused as a defense post rose from the ground near the corral. Its barrel angled upward, not at people, but at the nearest flyer. A warning lock, not a strike. The flyer's pilot pulled back slightly. The lead officer's helmet tilted. He was calculating, too. If Cole fired, the authority could answer with heavy force. But if the authority fired first, the rancher guild might scream. The towns might resist. Paperwork would turn into politics. The authority hated politics. For the first time, Cole saw hesitation. But then the lead officer did something different. He pressed a button on his wrist pad. A quiet pulse spread outward like a ripple. Cole's fence lights flickered. His defense post froze mid-rise. His generator sound stuttered. Cole's eyes widened slightly. "EMP pulse?" The officer's voice held satisfaction. "Your toys are old." Cole's ranch systems died one by one like candles blown out. The smoke still hung in the air, but now it was only smoke, no defenses behind it. The officer pointed toward the house. "Search, now!" Two officers moved again, faster this time, heading for the porch. Inside the basement, Lena heard the boots return. She clutched a small data stick in her palm, the thing she had risked everything to protect. Her eyes squeezed shut. Cole saw the situation collapsing. He could still run, he could still save himself. But then he remembered Lena's words, "They're changing people without consent." He thought of the town. He thought of kids and families. He thought of a world where the authority could take anyone and rewrite them like a program. Cole's hands tightened. He moved quickly toward the water tower ladder. The lead officer shouted, "Stop him!" Cole climbed fast, boots hitting metal rungs. A stun shot zipped past him and struck the tower with a bright spark. Cole didn't fall. He kept climbing. At the top of the water tower was a manual broadcast unit, old, ugly, and powerful. It could send a wide signal to the town and beyond. Cole had kept it for emergencies. This was an emergency. He grabbed the mic and slammed the power lever. A red light blinked on. Cole spoke into it, voice strong and clear, carrying across the ranch and into the dark sky. "This is Cole Mercer of Mercer Ranch," he said. "Authority units are conducting an illegal search on private land. If anyone can hear this, record it, send it, don't let it disappear." Below, the officers froze for a second. The lead officer's voice turned furious. "Shut that down!" Cole kept speaking, heart pounding. "They claim a fugitive is here. They are using force. They are—" A stunned shot hit the tower near his shoulder. Pain flashed through Cole's arm, but he held on. He finished the message with one final push. "If you care about the frontier, wake up. They're already here." He yanked the mic free and tossed it aside. Below, the officers rushed the house again. Cole climbed down fast, shaking pain from his arm. He knew the broadcast would bring attention. Maybe the rancher guild, maybe independent news, maybe even old friends from his martial days. At least now the authority couldn't do this in total darkness. Cole hit the ground and sprinted toward the porch. He arrived just as an officer shoved the front door open. Cole raised his rifle, not to fire but to block. "Step back," he warned. The officer aimed his stun weapon at Cole's chest. For one breath, everything stopped. Then Lena's voice came from inside the house, shaky but clear. "Cole, don't!" Cole's eyes flicked toward the hallway. Lena stood there, hands raised, face pale but standing tall. She had chosen to reveal herself. And that choice, like her confession, was about to change everything again. The authority officers froze in the doorway for a fraction of a second, surprised to see Lena standing in the hall. Her cloak was gone, and in its place she wore a simple tunic. Her hand held a small data pad tightly, the device glowing faintly. Cole's eyes narrowed. That pad carried everything she had risked her life to protect. Proof of authority experiments, lists of subjects, locations, and worst of all, files implicating him from long ago. Cole's mind raced. He had thought those old missions were buried. Official records should have been sealed or destroyed. If authority recovered them, he would be marked, no longer a rancher but a target again. The lead officer stepped into the house, boots thudding on the wooden floor. "Step aside, Mercer," he said. "The fugitive is coming with us." Cole's rifle stayed raised, steady. "She doesn't go anywhere without me." The officer's helmet tilted. Then you're obstructing the authority. That will cost you dearly. Cole didn't flinch. Try me. The officers advanced, scanning the walls, the floor, even the rafters. Their weapons glimmered under the dim lights. One of them kicked open the small side door leading to the basement. Lena ducked instinctively. Cole raised his rifle slightly, but he knew firing would escalate things beyond repair. Instead, he used the ranch. The hidden floor panel beneath the kitchen opened. A narrow crawl space, coated with dust and reinforced metal, led into the lower storage tunnels of the ranch. Cole motioned to Lena. Go. Lena hesitated. What about you? Cole smiled briefly, dry and sharp. Someone has to make sure they don't follow. She trusted him. She ducked into the crawl space and moved quickly, her boots scraping softly against the metal. Cole followed a beat later. The tunnels were narrow, dust and shadows thick. The distant sound of authority boots on the floor above echoed through the hallways, but the metal panels muffled most of it. Cole pressed his back against the wall. Listen, he said quietly. I need to know everything you have. Show me the files. Lena handed him the data pad. The soft glow lit her anxious face. Cole tapped it open with gloved fingers. Lines of text, tables, and encrypted images scrolled across the screen. Colonists had been taken under the guise of medical evaluations. DNA altered, behavior adjusted, even memory tampered. Some of the test subjects were children. Others were ranchers who refused to cooperate with authority orders. Cole's jaw tightened. Rage threatened to boil over, but he kept it calm. They're using people as tools, he said. That's why you ran, that's why they want you erased. Lena nodded. They can't stop me if the information gets out, but we need proof and escape. Cole studied the tunnels. One path led toward the old wind turbines and the desert beyond. Another looped back toward the barn's secret exit. He made a decision. We go toward the turbines. It's exposed, but I can block them there. She shivered. The desert night was cold, but the twin moons lit their way. Dust swirled around them as they emerged from the crawl space. The distant glow of authority flyers swept across the plains. Cole motioned her to stay low. Stay behind me. The first flyer hovered above the barn. Its searchlights swept the ranch yard, but the old defenses had already confused their scanners. Cole moved like a shadow, leading Lena across the sand dunes toward a hidden ravine. The wind howled past them, carrying grit that stung their faces. Cole's hoverbike keys were in his pocket, but he didn't want to risk firing it just yet. Noise meant detection. You're calm, Lena whispered, trying to keep up. Even now. Cole glanced at her, eyes sharp. Calm is the only way to survive. She watched him, noticing something she hadn't before. The man behind the rancher persona, the former marshal, the fighter, the strategist. Years of training and hardship made him steady, unshakable. But there was something else, too. A flicker of fear, buried but real. Fear not for himself, but for those who couldn't defend themselves. They reached the ravine, its jagged cliffs casting long shadows. Cole stopped. The path forward was narrow. One wrong move and they'd fall. More importantly, if the authority landed nearby, escape would be impossible. Hide here, he said. Let them pass. Lena crouched behind a rock outcrop. Cole's eyes scanned the skies. The flyers were still searching, moving slowly now. They didn't seem to know the ravine existed. Cole could feel the advantage. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small EMP device, one he had tested only once. Its purpose, to disable small electronics temporarily. He could take out one flyer if needed. He set it carefully on the sand, activating it silently. Moments later, a pulse spread outward, unseen but effective. A distant flyer shuddered, its engines humming, then momentarily dimmed before regaining function. One down, two to go. Cole smirked faintly. The advantage remained with him. Go, he whispered. Lena nodded and they continued along the ravine path. The air grew colder and the sand stung against their skin. Each step was calculated. The authority would expect them to flee across open ground. Cole led her through shadows, over small ridges, and into a hidden tunnel among the rocks, another old part of the ranch he had never used. It would serve as a temporary safe house. Inside, they caught their breath. Lena pulled her cloak tighter. How did you know about all these tunnels? She asked. Cole shrugged. Experience and paranoia, she laughed softly, a sound filled with relief. I can't believe I trusted you. Cole shook his head. You don't have a choice. And besides, I don't like leaving people to die if I can stop it. She looked at him with gratitude mixed with admiration. You're different from what I expected. Cole said nothing. He focused on the data pad. The files were vast, but the biggest revelation hit him suddenly, something about his own past. He hadn't realized the authority tracked him all this time. Someone had wanted him under observation for years, and now Lena had stumbled onto it. His hand tightened around the pad. "They didn't just target you," he said. "They've been studying me." Her eyes widened. "Studying you? Why?" Cole's voice dropped. "Because of what I used to do, the missions I led, the decisions I made. They never forgot me." Lena's face paled. "Then we're both targets." Cole nodded. "And we need to disappear tonight." They worked in silence, plotting their next move. The authority could track signals, visuals, even sound. Cole knew one mistake would end everything. But he also knew he couldn't simply flee. Not without exposing the data Lena carried. Not without a fight. Hours passed. Distant lights shimmered across the desert. They rested in the shadowed tunnel, waiting for the authority to leave or make their next move. Cole checked his rifle, tested the tunnel exits, and kept watch. Lena finally relaxed slightly, leaning back against the cold stone. "You saved me," she whispered. Cole didn't respond. He didn't need to. Saving people was part of what he had done before. Part of who he was, no matter how far he tried to bury it. The night stretched, filled with distant hums of authority engines. Outside, the twin moons cast silver lines over the desert dunes. Inside, two people, unlikely allies, prepared for what would come with the sunrise. And the sunrise would bring more than light. It would bring choices, danger, and revelations that neither could escape. By dawn, the desert's horizon had turned soft orange, streaked with pink and gold. The twin suns rose slowly, burning away shadows and revealing the jagged cliffs of the frontier world. Cole and Lena had spent the night in the hidden tunnel, far from the authorities' patrols. Exhaustion weighed heavily, but the mission was not over. They still had to reach safety, and the authority would return, stronger, faster, and more prepared. Cole unrolled a compact map of the colony on the data pad. Lines of terrain, old ranch boundaries, and secret paths marked their potential escape routes. He traced a finger toward the North Ridge. "There's an abandoned transport depot there. Old ships, mostly rusted, but one should still fly. We can get off-planet before they realize we're gone." Lena studied the map. "And the data, if we move, the authority will scan for it." Cole nodded. "We keep it offline. No signals, no trace. We carry it physically." Lena swallowed. "Physical like smuggling?" Cole shrugged. "Frontier style, simple, quiet, and dangerous. My favorite combination." They left the tunnel cautiously. The desert was quiet, save for the wind and distant hum of far-off vehicles. Cole led, rifle in hand, scanning the horizon. Lena kept close, holding the data pad securely under her coat. Every step brought them closer to freedom, but closer to danger too. They were fugitives now, hunted by the most powerful authority in the sector. As they approached the North Ridge, a faint sound carried over the wind, a patrol drone. Cole froze. Its sensors were slow but not blind. One wrong move and it would raise the alarm. He signaled Lena to hide behind a rock outcrop. Together, they waited, crouched low, breath shallow, listening as the drone passed. Once it moved on, they sprinted the final stretch to the depot. The depot was a skeleton of old ships, rusted metal, and broken glass. Cole led Lena to a ship with minimal corrosion, a small freighter capable of quick takeoff. He checked the systems. The engines groaned, but they could fly. Lena's hands shook as she loaded the data pad into a secure compartment. Cole handed her a makeshift blaster for protection, just in case. The authority would catch up eventually, but Cole had one advantage. They didn't know the terrain like he did. Every dune, every ravine, every hidden canyon had been his school. And now, with Lena at his side, they were ready to leave the past behind. Cole started the ship. Engines rumbled to life, dust kicked up around them. Lena glanced at him. "You really kept all this secret?" Cole smiled faintly. "I survive by being prepared." Sometimes that means keeping secrets. The ship lifted into the sky. The desert spread below them, vast, untamed, and free. Cole and Lena looked at each other, a silent agreement passing between them. Survival first, answers later. They had escaped the authority, for now, but the frontier had many more challenges waiting. As they broke through the atmosphere, the twin suns shining on the horizon, Lena finally allowed herself a small smile. She trusted Cole. And for the first time in a long while, she felt safe. Cole watched the desert recede, thinking of the ranch, the people, the life he had fought to protect. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing: He wouldn't let the authority win. Not here, not now, and not ever. The freighter jumped into subspace, leaving the frontier behind. Their new life had begun, dangerous, uncertain, but free. And in that freedom they both understood one truth: sometimes the only way to survive the frontier was together.